Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. All right, everybody, I'm back. Good to be back. So we have ourselves, how about this, a little bit of an emergency Aaron Torres pod clip here on a Wednesday. I'm actually en route to San Antonio, have a layover in Las Vegas at McCarran Airport. By the way, what is it about McCarran Airport? This is not a paid plug, by the way, but what is it about McCarran Airport? You always just want to stop and get a cold one. I don't know what it is. You land in Vegas, you just feel like you need one. But you know what else I need? I need to give you some portal news. I'm going to put this bad boy down, by the way. I need to give you some portal news because as I land, we get a huge piece of portal news. It could not wait until San Antonio when I landed later this evening. Jayden Quaintance is officially in the portal, and I'm here to tell you, gentlemen, start your engines because it is about to get crazy in this recruitment, okay? So Jayden Quaintance, freshman year, just finished his freshman year at Arizona State, all Big 12 freshman team. We're going to get into the details in a minute, but first of all, credit Jonathan Givony from ESPN. First one with this story, also reporting that Jayden Quaintance will undergo knee surgery, so he'll kind of be out for the summer, but it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is that this kid is in the portal. Remember, once upon a time, he was committed to John Calipari at Kentucky. So Kentucky wants to get in the mix. I know Arkansas, which of course needs big men, wants to get in the mix. When I tell you that this could be the most significant piece of portal news all off season long, it could be. That's why I'm going live here at McCarran Airport. That's why I put down the cold beverages to focus on you, the audience, because you need this information, and darn it, you need it now. All right, so let's get into Jayden Quaintance. Just finished his freshman year at Arizona State. I think on the surface, you look 9.5 points, 8 boards, 2.5 blocks per game. Really good year as a freshman, right? Really good year. But here's the thing. If you know the context, you know it was that much more incredible. And this was a kid we talked about a ton last year when he decommitted from Kentucky. We talked about his recruitment. I think Memphis was in the mix. I think Louisville was in the mix. Obviously, Arkansas tried to get back in the mix as well. But I bring it up solely to say this, is that he is a very unique player from this perspective, is that he was originally a member of the class of 2025, so should be graduating this year, reclassified into the class of 2024. Now, that's not what makes him unique. We see guys reclassify all the time, Cooper Flagg, A.J. DeBonsa, on and on and on and on and on. Here's the thing, though. He reclassified a year ahead of schedule. Okay, so remember, most guys reclassify, and when they reclassify, they really reclassify back into the grade that they're supposed to be in. In other words, basically, the rule with the NBA draft, there are 2 things to be draft eligible that you need to be. You need to be 19 years old in the year of the NBA draft, so all players in this year's draft have to be born in 2006, and then you also have to be a year removed from high school. And so most guys reclassify, they're going to turn 19 in the year of the draft. And so because of it, they want to move up the clock, be eligible when they turn 19 years old so they can get into the draft as quickly as possible. What makes Jayden Quaintance unique, he is the rare player who reclassified. He is still not yet, how about this? Not yet 18 years old. He is born July of 2007, okay? What does that mean? He played all of last year as a 17-year-old freshman at Arizona State. He'll be 18 this year. It won't be until next year that he's actually eligible for the NBA draft. It was why, by the way, he was so coveted at this time last year, because you sat there and said, well, wait a second. If we get this kid committed and if things go well, we're going to have him for 2 full years. He can't go to the draft until 2026. Well, he goes to Arizona State. It obviously doesn't work out, and now he is in the portal. Again, credit Jonathan Givony with the scoop. No, great scoop. It came out, and it appears as though he is getting ready to enter the portal right now. By the way, again, as I mentioned, a little bit of a knee injury, so I wish him well in recovery. What that means is that he probably won't be working out with his new team, at least for the time being, over the summer. Okay. But let's get into this recruitment because, again, when you average as a true freshman in college basketball, 17 years old, the youngest player in college basketball, how about this? About 8 months fully younger than Cooper Flagg. When you do that and you average about 10 points, 8 boards, and 2.5 blocks, you know that you can play. And what you also know is that if he entered the portal, and this was one that we've been monitoring this whole time for this exact reason, if you enter the portal, you instantly become basically the most coveted player available. By the way, as always, make sure you're following our Torres on CBB Twitter page, Torres on CBB on CBB Transfers on Instagram, CBB Transfers on Twitter for all your late breaking transfer news, CBB Transfers on Twitter and Instagram. All right, so let's get into it. And let's talk about what I think could be, it's going to be a fascinating recruitment, okay? And so to me, there are a couple things that stand out about this recruitment, as just about everybody in this airport is looking at Torres like, what the hell is going on? You're in the middle of an airport. Why are you yelling into a mic? All right, recruitment. Couple things. I don't want to say I know the whole circumstance. I don't. This stuff always changes. Ask anybody who's following the portal. This stuff changes by the day. I think I have some reasonable intel on what could happen over the next few months. Next few weeks, excuse me. First of all, I think the big thing is coming from Arizona State, not going back to Arizona State, Bobby Hurley, whatever. I was told, this sounds weird, but I think this is actually an important nugget. I was told that there was part of, not part of the reason you left Arizona State, but one thing that was a little bit of a deterrent, not a great relationship with Adidas, the shoe, the this, the that. I'm not saying, I don't know if it had anything to do with what's leading to surgery. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is the relationship with Adidas was not good. And so I think if you're an Adidas school, it's going to be an uphill battle. Forget Arizona State returning. I think it makes it interesting for two different teams. Louisville's crushing in the portal. At some point, we're going to talk about Pat Kelsey because that man is a menace to society, okay? He's getting player after player after player after player. And last year, they were in pretty deep with Jayden Quaintance when he reopened his recruitment after he decommitted from Kentucky. I don't know that this year they will be able to get as far. You never know, but I don't know that they're going to be a factor this year. I think that's going to be an uphill battle. I think beyond that, it's also worth noting Kansas. Kansas needs players. I'm not even being sarcastic. Darren Peterson won McDonald's All-American Game MVP. It's him and AJ Storr right now. The last time I checked, Rylan Griffin's in the portal, Flory Badunga's in the portal. You go on and on and on down the list. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Kansas to get this kid, and it's a shame because he would be the perfect plug-and-play, 4-man, 5-man, whatever, for, perfect plug-and-play 4-5-man at Kansas alongside Darren Peterson. Can you imagine those alley-oops? I think it's going to be a long shot for Kansas. As far as the Nike schools, I'm just going to be real. It's going to be interesting to see if John Calipari in Arkansas can basically, I would say mend would be the right word, the relationship with the family. I think the family was taken by surprise at John Calipari's move away from Kentucky to Arkansas. I think they felt like they were in the dark. I felt like, let me put it this way. I don't feel like the family totally loved the manner in which it went down. Is that fair? Is it unfair? I don't know. I'm just here to tell you that the people around this kid, I don't think were happy with how that went down. And maybe even some of the things after Jayden officially reopened his recruitment last year. And so to me, not saying Arkansas is not in the mix, but there will be some fences to mend in that recruitment. Speaking of which, there's going to be some fences to mend in the recruitment for Kentucky as well. Kentucky, if you remember, Mark Pope, I believe it was on more than one occasion, but certainly one, was scheduled to have a meeting with the family after he reopened his recruitment. And basically, I think it was like you go back to last year, we talked about all this. Within like an hour of when they were supposed to meet, families together, families waiting for the coaching staff at Kentucky, Mark Pope canceled at the last minute. And listen, I'm not here to throw dirt on Mark Pope. Listen, he had to do what he had to do. The NIL money was obviously really high last year. I think he felt like the NIL didn't make sense for him at that moment. But what I would also say is that, I think it may have rubbed the family the wrong way. The good news is they're back in the mix. They need a big guy. We know they missed on Magoon Gwath. We talked about him a few days ago. He's going back to San Diego State. You need a big guy. Maybe the money is there. Maybe you can mend that fence. By the way, Arkansas, it goes without saying, right? We know Arkansas needs a big guy. Jonas Adu's graduated. Big Z is obviously in the portal. As of right now, we don't know the status of Trevin Brazil. Arkansas missed on Morez Johnson, so you know they need a big guy as well. Obviously, those are going to be the two headliners. I think it's worth noting, remember, the family originally, or Jayden originally, committed to Missouri over Arkansas, or Missouri over, committed, sorry. These the air in the McCarran airport's getting to me. What could I say? Committed to Kentucky, but the finalist alongside Kentucky was Missouri. I think there's a great relationship there with Dennis Gates, with that staff, with C.Y. Young, great assistant coach. I would expect them to get back in the mix, and you just go on and on down the list. Pick a Nike school. I think they're going to be in the mix. I think the one variable, as we all know, NIL is a factor. It just is. I don't believe that it's going to be the highest bidder. That's not what I believe. I believe, listen, Jayden had kind of this year is kind of a gap year, if you will, between high school and the NBA, this 2024-2025 season. But this season in 2025, 2026 is about making sure he is in the best position to get him ready for the NBA. And so I solely bring it up to very simply say that I think if you're probably a Nike school, I think even an Adidas school can get in the mix, but I think it's going to be an uphill battle. If you can prove that you can develop this kid in the manner that he needs to be developed, get him ready for the NBA, that's going to be the biggest selling point in this recruitment. Is it Arkansas and John Calipari? Is it Mark Pope in Kentucky? Is it someone else? Is it Missouri? Is it, UCLA? I thought they were out of money before, out of a debt. Apparently, I don't know what I'm talking about. Michigan needs a big man. You just go on and on down the list of the schools that need a big man that this kid could be a factor in. But I'm here to tell you, Yaxel Lendenberg, RJ Lewis. I mean, this is that caliber of player. When you average 10, 8, and 2.5 as a 17-year-old, the youngest player in college basketball, it's unbelievable. And I'm so excited to see where this kid lands, so excited to see where this kid develops. And believe me, we're going to be covering this one quite a bit. Do me a quick favor. If you enjoyed this video, tour is coming live from the McCarran Airport on the way to San Antonio. I should be getting into San Antonio around 5 Central or so. Make sure you're subscribed to the Aaron Torres Pod. New clips, new videos going up every single day. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Aaron Torres Pod, Apple, Spotify. Thank you to BetUS TV, SeatGeek.com, promo code Torres, get $20 off. Make sure you're following CBB Transfers on Twitter.